Was the last Friday Night Funkin' update seriously 3 years ago? That's wild to think. But I've never lost faith in this team. We were always getting this game. This newest update completely overhauls things and leans really heavily into the game's Newgrounds roots, not just with the characters, but by featuring fully animated cutscenes, something that's always been foundational to that site. Newgrounds has always been at the heart of this project, so it's only fitting that they would release the latest update on Tom Fulp's birthday, the creator of Newgrounds. And to further add to that celebration, this update once again is going all in on the Newgrounds themes, characters, and references. I'm gonna fire off a quick list of major changes that were made with this update, although a more comprehensive patch notes exists directly in the game files. My understanding is that the game was effectively rewritten from the ground up to free themselves of any messy code lingering from the early days of this game's inception. They've added gamepad support with the ability to rebind controls. Things have been made much simpler for modders and adding custom charts. The menus were pretty well completely overhauled, including these brand new results screens. There are now 12 new Erect remixes available in free play, and an entirely new story level, Dudettes, was added, which is now the game's first weekend. This is not week 8. I mean, it's the 8th week, but not officially week 8. I'm guessing they're going to use the weekend title to expand on different characters and explore their background and story while reserving the proper weeks for everything related to boyfriend and girlfriend. So while there aren't heaps of new content in this update, there is still a lot of changes happening here. For anyone who's been following me and Two Left Thumbs for quite some time now, 3 years ago, Dead Estate wasn't even released yet. A game that itself was born of Newgrounds that singularly kicked off my entire indie game publishing label. And as of now, 3 years later, there are 11 games released under that label, with the next coming at the very end of this month, Rack and Slay. This is a roguelike billiards game developed by Fabian Fisher. It's a simple game, rather chaotic, and pretty well infinitely replayable. The idea was to keep things simple while balancing out the fun and the challenge. It kind of has one foot in the golden age of Flash gaming, and for that reason I think could very much appeal to fans of Friday Night Funkin'. There is a very comprehensive demo available both on Steam and Newgrounds that should give you a very good sense of what this game has to offer. I'll have links down below, please do check it out, and the number one thing you could do to help us out ahead of that release is to add that game to your Steam wishlist. Thank you for hearing me out. Let's get back to more funkin'. The opening cutscene of the first weekend is littered with references. Most of them are silly little gags. In place of Starbucks, we have Dumbfuck's Coffee. There's a quick little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle graffiti on the wall. I hope I don't embarrass myself here by saying this NPC looks like Princess Peach, what with her crown and pink and white getup, but maybe her and this kid are from something I'm unfamiliar with. You guys would have to let me know. Instead of a 7-Eleven corner store, we have 9-11, which is a gag I didn't even fully appreciate until scripting this out, and one that isn't even really the most shocking thing seen in these first few seconds. We've been in business since 1999 is likely a 2-layer reference, as 99 is both the year Ninja Muffin was born and the year the Newgrounds automated portal debuted. And we have a little minimalist Newgrounds tank for good measure. Whee! And the spiciest reference of all is definitely null object reference. I can't believe they'd push the boundaries like that. Too edgy for me. They should go straight to jail for that one. Genuinely though, null object reference ended up trending on Twitter because of this recurring bug. Now that it's kind of become a thing, I think they should lean into that with the full game and add some Masigno level meta reference somewhere in the game. This cutscene also informs some of the larger backstory. Daddy Dearest hired Pico, Nene, and Darnell to take out Boyfriend. But after their showdown, Pico and Boyfriend are cool with each other, and with Pico then interfering with the Tankmen battle, Nene and Darnell are out to get Pico. And by get, I mean castrate. From here, things really kick off. I love the effect of Pico and Nene's reflections appearing in his Uzi that's so cinematic. And this action sequence is genuinely so good. I think it's super cool the way music is used to help tell the story here. That's really clever and it makes so much sense for a rhythm game. And I'm absolutely obsessed with those Vocaloid effects these characters are using even when they aren't singing. We've had years of phenomenally detailed mods made by some of the most talented people out there, and I think including something like this action sequence was a really great way for this team to show precisely what they have to offer and why those mods will never really be a replacement for what they've got cooking with the full game. This update includes 2 new characters, both of which were directly created by Tom Fulp, which is precisely why they chose April 30th to release this update. While both Nene and Darnell are mostly known through Pico's school and the larger Pico universe, both of them actually predate Pico. Nene's first game was titled Nene Interactive Suicide. It's a simple game clicking around the screen, and the title pretty thoroughly sums up what that game is all about. Nene's entire defining character trait in the early days was her suicidal tendencies. It was instead the unofficial Pico-based animation The Perfect Murder, made by Newgrounds lifer Lewis, where Nene was first shown wielding kitchen knives, something that has since become a prominent part of the character across pretty well all depictions. And even before that, we had Darnell Plays with Fire. This one is a movie rather than a game. It's a short series of scenes showing Darnell as a pyromaniac burning down Des Moines before dying and himself being torched by God. We've actually seen Darnell once before in this game in the background of Week 5 Red Snow, so what once felt like a fun little reference has come full circle to being a proper part of the story. Unlike Nene, he was only ever mentioned in Pico's school and doesn't actually physically appear himself. Darnell, being a graffiti artist, comes from a series of Pico-based stickers designed by Mind Chamber and previously sold in the Newgrounds store. Back in Darnell Plays with Fire, he's shown holding a gun and knife, but I really enjoyed this design and the way the Funkin' crew instead leaned into his pyro proclivity by giving him a lighter instead. People seem to really enjoy my full histories on Pico and Tankmen. I'm always excited to talk about all things Newgrounds and Flash based, and to hopefully help people understand when characters come from somewhere other than Friday Night Funkin'. While I think there'd be notably less to share for these 2 characters, since they never escalated to full-on mascot status the way Pico and Tankmen did, perhaps it'd be worth doing full history videos on them as well? If I were to do that, would you prefer to see 2 short videos, one on Nene and one on Darnell, or would you rather see one longer video that covers both and kind of fleshes out the Pico's world? Let me know in the comments and we'll see what the popular choice is there. And Nene is actually sitting atop another Newgrounds character. Alongside the debut of the Newgrounds audio portal, we had the addition of A-Bot, the audio portal equivalent of the Flash Portal's P-Bot. I believe he was originally designed by Mind Chamber, and was once featured prominently in an older Newgrounds design with Darnell bobbing along to the beat. In game here, I really like the little detail of A-Bot's eyes shifting back and forth to follow whoever's singing. And we'll wrap things up by firing off some additional details scattered throughout this update. It appears they've added 2 new intro texts, parental advisory, explicit content, which is a very general reference to the warning label from the RIAA. And Pico says, trans rights, which is very much appreciated to see. It's been a really cool progression to see a character that's so heavily rooted in this edgy humor to now being this bastion of LGBTQ rights. The Funkin' crew are real ones for that. In the transition between Too Hot and Blazin', we get this electric guitar riff, which is a musical reference to the boss battle music in Pico's school. Through the file names, we know that this weekend is set in Philly, which is the main setting for the Pico series. Darnell is shown spray painting Newgrounds on the wall, but I don't intend to unpack the weird implications of Newgrounds canonically existing in Friday Night Funkin'. The new victory pose for Boyfriend is possibly a reference to Alien Hominid's stage clear pose. I feel pretty confident in that one. I didn't catch this one myself, but I've seen it suggested that this Pico and Darnell handshake is an X-Men vs. Street Fighter reference. With that very specific posing and the orange background, which is also itself very much a Newgrounds thing, I think they're absolutely right about that one. There's something so familiar about the way both characters wipe their nose, the back of the hand, the little nose flick. Is this like Goku and Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z or something? I couldn't find a specific clip. When Pico and Darnell walk off and trip together, all I can think of was this Simpsons scene.
Jerry, I think you and I are gonna get along just fine.
I have no idea if that's intentional, it could just be a very similar gag. We have 3 new game over screens. The standard one is a direct reference to a Pico school game over, with the blood pouring out of Pico like a fountain. If you lose against Darnell, specifically when he tosses a paint can at you, there is a unique game over animation. And if you lose during their fist fight, Pico doubles over and face plants into the ground. And while this is in no way hidden, I just want to shout out how cool the Blazin' fight is. It's the first track in the game to feature 0 vocals, and is just a cool ass way to show off the sort of sequence breaks we can expect in the larger game. If you hang out in the menu long enough, it will play Toy Commercial, which is a fun new animation advertising a brand new boyfriend figurine. This isn't a gag, this is a real thing you can go purchase at that website. And this blue buy now screen is just generally a reference to those old infomercial ads. I think that's everything there was to talk about in this update. If you felt I missed any major Easter eggs or references, you'll have to let me know. Be sure to check out that demo for Rack and Slay, I think you'll have a lot of fun with it, and if you do enjoy it, please add it to your Steam wishlist. I always feel a little weird including those sorts of plugs in these videos, but way back when I shouted out Dead Estate, you guys genuinely did show up for it, and the success of that game single-handedly built up this entire indie game publishing enterprise. So yeah, please do add that to your Steam wishlist, it really does help. Thank you all so much for watching, I can't wait to see what this crew cooks up next. I'd be curious to hear what your favorite song was from the new update, and I hope to see you again soon. Happy belated birthday, Tom!